Hello, Divine Light Activators, and welcome to Season 2 of Own Your Divine Light Show. My name is Janet Miller, and I am so elated to welcome back Shanta Gabrielle. As a master energy healer, author, teacher, and elder, a way shower, and a wisdom keeper for over 40 years, Shanta has devoted her life to bridging heaven and earth using divine light. Shanta began her studies when she met an Indian master of ancient science of sound in 1977. This became her sacred foundation for her spiritual work she offers. Shanta's work with the archangels began in 1988 through transmissions from the archangels, and those are the classes, the membership groups, and private sessions that she does offer. Shanta's mission is to facilitate and invite people into a direct experience of infinite intelligence and divine love. How beautiful. Thank you. Welcome back, Shanta. I'm so delighted you're here to share your latest information. And it was so wonderful to meet you in person in Mount Shasta, where you and I, closed down the restaurant with our conversations that lasted 3 hours or more. And it was amazing. I mean, we're like sisters, soul sisters now. And it's amazing. I just feel like we've known each other forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very nice to see you again.
Yep. And we forged that instant friendship and bond. So that was so much fun. Thank you for connecting and doing, it was really wonderful. So Shanta, what do you think of the collective consciousness now at this point in 2019? Where do you see us?
Birthing. I see us on the cusp of a birth into this greater consciousness, this more connected awareness, where people recognize that they have new choices, that the world is not the same way as it used to be, and that and that there are multi-dimensions to connect to, which were never there before. And so I'm very optimistic. It's exciting.
Yeah. And is that because the veils are dropping and thinning, and is that how you see it? The veils might be thinning.
I mean, that's a part of it, but I think that there's so much divine light just flooding the planet that people are waking up, there, and plus the world doesn't look the same. I mean, part of the world does, but we're recognizing that there's so many things that aren't working, that brings an awareness into life that people may not have gone to before. And so
yeah, so many more people are waking up, as we say in our work, and people are so ready to change their lives and to really work in something that gives them fulfillment and passion. And I think that's where our world is going. People really want to work in a lot of fulfillment and passion.
Yes, and that's what we need, because the old pension, work at the same job for 30 years, that is so not happening anymore, and so it's really a great entrepreneurial, expansive time to have new possibilities.
Yeah, and it doesn't even exist anymore. I mean, pensions, I think they've gone out the window, so those days are gone when people could rely on that. So we really, entrepreneurship, like what we do, is the thing now, because you always know you'll have something. You always know you have a job. You don't have to rely on the big companies, even though it's harder work, but it's well worth it when you finally, get it flowing in your life, and everything gets to be in place. And it's always a journey anyway with anything we do like this.
Everything. But at least it is more creative, and it allows you to bring your soul gifts into the world in a way that you couldn't with a regular job.
Yeah.
And some people can create jobs that are that way. And so it's not just the entrepreneurship that is so uncertain. There's always going to be some uncertainty, but there's ways of creating, as you say, a nice flow and connection to the fulfilling part of us that really wants to express.
Yeah. Oh, I love that about being creative and connecting with our soul gifts, because that's what it's all about. Connecting with those aspects of our soul, that's what this journey is all about in this lifetime, to collect those aspects of us that we weren't, aware of before, because we're open to new information, we're opening to the new energies. And yeah, that's a very, I love that. That's beautiful.
People are just having to get used to more change, quicker change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the frequencies have, because the light has brought higher frequencies and things are changing more quickly, people are having to get used to things changing more rapidly and being able to be more flexible.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's so true. And some people really don't like change,
Yeah.
but, and that makes it hard when people hear this. It's like, oh no, not change again. But change is good. Change is growth. And when, if life hasn't been the way you want it, well, you can change it and just realize that you have that choice.
Yeah.
So isn't that
That I think that's perfect that you said change is good, change is growth. Whenever we have that confronting us, change that we're going to have to shift, remember to say to ourselves, change is good, change is growth.
Yeah, it's a good mantra. I like that. It should be a new mantra for all of us. Change is good, because I mean, I've been through many, many changes in my life, and I know you have too. And we've all, we've had to, you adjust, because life is about flow, and nothing stays the same. And, it can't. I mean, the old ways were, sort of more stagnant and more, like, I guess you'd call it dependable, but yet you're also in a box, kind of. So now we're out of the box, for those who choose to be.
Okay.
Once they're getting pushed out of the box,
Yeah.
you got to realize that it's okay to be out of the box. There are other ways you can live and make a living, and it may take some work. None of this is handed to us, but it's just taking committed action for yourself. Like, just commit to some action that you're going to make your life better, and then you really want to do. Now that you've got this opening in your life, let's make it one that it really is meaningful to yourself.
I think for me too, when I prayed to have my new path open, when I wanted my soul's gifts to be shown to me, when I was really asking for a change in my work. And it's one of those, you got to watch out for what you ask for things, because I was doing energy work, I was doing massage, and Archangel Michael showed up at the end of my table. And it was massive, and it was scary, and it was, disconcerting, and it changed everything. And so when we are in a flow of change, we can ask for it to be more graceful. We can ask for it to support, to help us feel safe and supported, even in the process of change. It's creating intentions in ourselves and committing to working in a way that isn't so frightening, because we have more support and we feel supported and safe.
Yeah, and there's more support now more than ever. I remember when we all started, I mean, when you started way before I did, but yet, in 1999, when I actually was awakened then, I mean, I got into Reiki and all that, and it was so new, and now it's all over the place. It's everywhere. It's in hospitals. I mean, it's so accepted. People, don't even think twice about it. And 20 years ago, that was so not the way.
You couldn't even use the word energy.
Yeah.
I mean, that was before, I mean, everything collapsed for me in 99, but back in like 92 or 3, I was trying to talk about the work that I was doing. It was more than massage. And I use chi, and I use words that are more acupuncture, the Eastern medicine. And the people that I was trying to get through to were just seeing it as jargon,
Sure,
and and they were not getting that it was an actual energy that we live in. We live and breathe and move in this energy of light, and we can direct that flow. It's part of our ability when we are wanting to create those stronger intentional forces. We just direct this flow that we already exist in.
Yeah.
And, everything is more, and everything's more fluid now. So we can actually do that. We're creating using light.
Well, yeah, then the internet came in and it just made everything flow. So our lives are flowing with all that. So yes, everything is so increased that way. And you were such a way shower to get that early and to even put words to it, because yeah, it's hard to put words to that stuff. I remember having a friend who could do that too. She could put words to it, and I had a difficult
Admire that
I
very
had a very difficult time. And she would write papers and explain what was going on. I'd be like, how did you figure that out? You know, and it was amazing. And here I'm doing the work, but to express it to somebody, and I mean, I could talk to my clients, obviously, but yet to really get out there and talk to a general public that weren't really aware of the work yet, or to, you know, introduce them to it. It's
yeah,
a whole
like
new
I was
world.
just on the East Coast, and I'm a West Coast person. I'm a native Californian, and Californians speak differently.
Yes,
So
they
here I
do.
was, and they were. So she was saying, "You're talking Californian, and you need to talk Yankee."
Oh, I love it. I love it. You're talking
But I
California.
still can't do that, particularly. But it was it's a challenge to find words that can be all encompassing, and it's our hearts that are really communicating anyway.
But that's a good way to learn from each other too, because if someone really wants to learn, they will sit and start, you know,
Yeah.
figuring it out. And that's great. I love that. I mean, that makes so much sense. It really does. Yeah. So, okay. So the collective consciousness is where, you know, is in this huge, you know, expansion. It's in this huge, you know, moving forward energy, and to, that's what you're seeing is right. That's what I'm seeing as well. So what do you see as your role now in the present reality? Like what's your next step for you and for the people that you work with?
I just want to really keep sharing these directions and depth and meaningful conversations,
Mm-hmm.
encouraging people to have a very even a small 20 minutes a day spiritual practice.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back into devotion for me is the piece that allows my life to take on more meaning and purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm teaching ways to have, devotion isn't a word that especially Westerners are really
Yeah, right.
familiar with, but it's really true that devotion is even something as simple as lighting a candle every day and offering it to the divine, and offering that kind of thinking takes us out of this mundane and allows us to kind of expand into a greater realm of vision and awareness and love, really. And so I see myself as still a wisdom keeper, an elder, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that those of us who have been at this work for a very long time have a lot to share. And the thing that I've noticed is that a lot of the young people who are now becoming more aware, they come in with way more ability to
Mm-hmm.
express and to create and and of course all of these technological breakthroughs like Zoom and all
Yep,
these
yep.
things. They can do all of that stuff, and there's also a requirement to recognize the depth that exists when we just kind of slow down a little bit and allow ourselves to go do our inner work as well as what is going on in the outer world.
So using that word devotion, that's like an interesting word to me because it is an older word.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting when you say that is, you know, people are getting devoted to themselves and taking self-care. So when you're saying devotion, it's kind of like setting up your practice for yourself to give yourself moments of like quiet and
Yes.
clarity and time to just like, you know, stop, because that's so important right now, to stop in our daily life.
And breathe. Those two things.
Going so fast. Yeah. We're going so
We can
fast.
go fast, but we can't go as fast as the world is going. So the best thing we can do is pull back slow down and breathe
Mhm.
really deeply. And it's also remembering, the devotion is also remembering that we're not in charge. You know, in some ways we have plenty of choices of what we can do and what we can create, but there is a greater power working in and through us. And when we remember that, that's what's really going to change our ability to feel supported, is to recognize that there's greater levels of energy working in and through us, and we can tune into that. And it's as close as our breath. It's as
Mhm.
close as our awareness. When
Mhm.
we bring our attention back into our hearts and into that centered place where the greatest presence of divinity dwells within us and all around us, it's just remembering that alone changes everything for me. And so I offer my work to this presence that is divine and works in and through me.
Right. And yeah, so, that comes into a question that I love to ask about, people, the word creators is coming up so much now. So you're talking about how there's a presence. Well, we are that presence as well, because we're an aspect of that creator energy, of
Absolutely.
that source energy that's coming through. We are source coming in form to have an experience on this planet.
Yeah.
And so, to me, yeah, we are that source. We are part of the source. Now people don't get that yet, and because we've always gone outside the body, and we've always gone to the church or to the, whoever you're inviting, temple, mosque, wherever you're going. And it's kind of going outside yourself, and you really want to come into yourself. That's
Yeah.
how I'm looking at it.
So
Yeah.
this slowing down piece is really
Mhm.
important.
Mhm.
And the other thing that's really made a big difference, and this came from Archangel Gabriel directly,
Mhm.
was that we have this soul connection. We have this higher
Mhm.
self,
Mhm.
this part of our divinity that is greatly expansive and enhanced and in tune with this divine source. And it's also in tune with what we came here to do. And it's
Mhm.
also connected to the earth presence as well, because without having our connection to the earth and the recognition that we are part of the earth, we have the same elements in us that the earth does. We are a part of the earth, so we can't separate. We're coming into unity consciousness, we're coming into wholeness. And that holding part of us is what really connects us to this to the elemental kingdom, as well as the starry realms, you know. So
Mhm.
it's part of all of us, and so that alignment within is really important. And so the higher self knows what we're here to do, and the higher self also is that part of us that is knows what guides, masters, angels, teachers, knows what's best for us, you know. And so we can invite those teachers, those guides. We can, you know, people are really opening up to that right now, and because we're becoming so sensitive to energy,
Mhm.
suddenly we have access to these realms of guidance that we've never had before.
That is so true.
And
Yes.
it's not just, and we're not, it's, and I just at one point just opened up to everybody, you know. I'm just like, okay, whoever wants to come in, you know. It got horribly confusing.
Oh, no, no.
It
Yeah.
really wasn't, it really didn't, it wasn't helpful. And so what we need to do is know that that divine part of us, that soul connection, because our higher self has our soul's voice, is our soul's voice.
Yes.
So if we can become really familiar with that energy and invite that part of us, that soul connection, to bring to us the teachers,
Mm.
the masters, or the angels that are actually here to guide us, then we will be really, it'll be refined. And that's what we're in that's why we need
Mm.
to slow down, because it's not just about opening to everything. It's about our refinement of our energy.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
that we were very in tune with source working through us. We're very in tune with the nourishment of the earth as well. So it's a refinement that we're in process with. And that's why
That is true.
yeah,
Yep. I think
yeah,
that's really true, because opening up to everything is not a good idea.
can
Not
be
at all.
really frightening, you know.
Well, you don't know what's coming in. You've really got to surround yourself with white light and only ask for your highest and best guides to come through that are in the highest light.
And
And
develop the sensitivity and the resonance in your body, so you know immediately if it's an energy that is good or and works for you, or if it's not in harmony with who you are and what you can.
yeah, well, how do you do that? So let's hear, how do you do that? Because I know you had some kind of an experience with a guide recently. Do you want to tell us a little how you could tell what that experience, what that guide was about? Was it good, bad, or was it not in your best interest? Let's put it that way.
um, I hardly ever attract energy. I mean, we attract to us the energies that are in our consciousness.
Right,
So if
right.
we keep our consciousness uplifted, if we keep ourselves in a higher frequency, then we don't really have to. We can really trust our intuition much more. Well, the last energy that came through me that was surprising was Archangel Hope. And it's one of the things about living in Mount Shasta that is so interesting, because it's such a high frequency place. It's nearly like living in the fifth. I mean, we are living in the fifth dimension, and you can feel it here.
Yes,
It's not just the elevation. there's a greater presence living at the root chakra of the earth.
that's
It
right.
allows us to feel really connected to the elemental energy in a way that we don't need. And Mount Shasta also has this high level of frequency and expansiveness that allows us to bring in maybe connect with energy that we might not have otherwise. And so Archangel Hope I had only heard of, because
Hmm.
it said that Archangel Gabriel and his female counterpart, Archangel Hope, have a retreat on Mount Shasta. Now, I
Wow.
don't know why archangels need retreats, but that's what I've heard. It's a part of the belief system here. There's a lot of different the belief systems here in Mount Shasta, and people are tuning into things that are just not normal anywhere else, but here it's common.
Hmm.
Uh, but Archangel Hope came and started just talking to me. And the energy was so completely different, but it was so uplifting that
Mm.
I knew it was really something special for me.
Oh, good.
And what she said was that people have lost hope, and that hope is one of the things that is really required for the planet right now.
Mm.
And she said that in the past, we've thought of hope as being something kind of amorphous, sort of etheric, Pollyanna, but that hope actually has a really high frequency, and
Hmm.
that it is part of this new foundation we're creating
Mm.
on the earth. And so the foundation that we're creating that is necessary for us to be able to attune to the crystalline grid that is really active in our bodies as well as on the earth. So there's a really powerful depth there. And so when hope is a part of that foundation, it
Ah.
uplifts us all, and
Mm.
it uplifts the earth. And so we're sort of planting the seeds of hope into this crystalline grid that can spread like a web of light throughout the earth and give people something more positive to stand on.
And the crystalline grid, as I understand it, is changing our DNA. I mean, our DNA is shifting and upgrading, and that's why the veils are thinning for us. That's where people are seeing that, their life is changing because they've been upgraded, and they're like, well, why doesn't this work for me anymore? And that's the upgrade. So, you know, to put that to words, which is interesting, I've never said it like that before, but to actually understand what the crystalline grid's all about is because we're getting our DNA activated. We have 2 strands that were originally given to us, which was way below what we're supposed to have. And it's up to 12, it's up to whatever. People are getting hundreds of strands now. I mean, it depends on where you're at, but you can get up to, you know, 12, 24, 36. It doesn't matter. You can keep adding them on. I think there's a limit. I mean, not that there's a limit, but there's a certain amount. I can't remember what it is at the moment, but that's what I've been learning. You know, you can put on the linear thing too, but yeah, go ahead.
I mean, they was call our junk DNA. You know, I mean,
and that's the
and
that
like God could create junk in our bodies. No, I don't think so. You know, so this is there's a lot of change phenomena, you know, in the outer world as well as in our inner world. And so this is part of our refinement process.
That's right. When you said that word, yes.
Slowly to pull back from what we're seeing and pull into our hearts and that deep connection to the earth, as well as our higher self and these starry realms. This allows us to really know we have a resonance. It's almost instantaneous when that is refined. So we know beyond a shadow of a doubt whether we're in harmony with what we're experiencing or not. And if we're not in harmony with what our experience is, we can change it. We have that capacity. You know, we have choices that we never had before. And things change so quickly that we're able to really create our strong intentions, ground them, get very clear in who we are and what we're willing to participate in. And that allows us to create new experience and expand our perceptions of life. And it's this expansiveness that really makes the big difference.
Yeah, and that's where we're going with the expansiveness. I mean, that is creating, I mean, the DNA upgrades that's the expansiveness right there. And because we're growing into it, sometimes we can fall back into some old ways and you know it doesn't feel right anymore. So that's a good indication of where you are in your shifting and moving into the higher consciousness or the newer thinking and the changing of the planet. Because when you feel like, wow, nothing fits anymore, nothing's I don't need, even the relationship doesn't work, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. That's all because you've outgrown it and you're changed and you're ready for the next step.
Yes.
And so don't be hard on yourself. Let it go and move forward, knowing that you can change it because you're ready for it. This is like telling you you're ready, right? Is that what that's what I'm hearing you say? We're ready for it.
And also if things aren't working anymore and we don't know what our next step is, then that also is a sign to stop. You can't do anything. You have to let yourself come. I go back to my spiritual practice. That's what is the only outlet at this point, is to come back, breathe and do my spiritual practice, which, is very remembering that as I quiet myself, then the divine energy has a place to work through me. And so if I'm, so keeping that quiet center or finding a place in my heart where the wisdom can come through is a very important aspect for me. So, but it's also a great sign. Part of it, this one of the most frustrating things for me is when I have no clue. It's like I really don't know what my next step is. I really don't know what I want to do anymore. Everything doesn't feel right. And that is a sign from the universe that you are about to leap into something you never even imagined how great it would be. And are you ready for that? And so you get yourself ready by being centered and being grounded and connected to the earth and to the sacred presence that lives in and through the earth. And it's a great time to take more walks in nature. Have more fun, to let yourself be a little more free, because you don't know what other thing to do. So, hey, have some fun, just kind of enjoy being in a body. And this is part of what we're supposed to do here too. And
I love that. Yeah.
so it's a really good sign when you get to that impasse that says, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do, that's a great sign. You just go, yeah, thank you, it's good. Even though it feels really, really horrible.
And it doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel comfortable, but the discomfort means that you are growing. As soon as you're uncomfortable, you know that you're ready for the next step or whatever's calling you. And you're like, I don't really want to do that because I don't think I'm ready, or I don't think I can do it. Yeah. But that's where you have to go. You have to go there now, because that is the truth of you growing and expanding yourself and creating more of what you really want in your life. Because obviously the universe is showing you, you must have the ability. You just have to keep developing it. Like, it's in there, it's in your core, but yet you've never tapped into it yet. Now you have the opportunity to tap into that.
Yeah. And you can ask for a sign too. You can.
True. These are all the concrete ways you can do it.
Yeah. So if you're hearing this and you feel really totally stuck and you can't imagine that this is the truth, then you go ask for a sign. Ask for a sign that you're on the right track.
I love that. Yeah.
That is uplifting and beautiful, because we can get a lot of signs. We can get it with a hammer, or we can get it with a Mack truck, or we can get it with a feather, so we can ask that to know how, ask to have a feather.
Exactly.
And even, so I have a friend that says, whenever she sees a white feather, she knows the angels are with her, so there's, a little sign right there. And one time I was really going to change my life. It was 1999, that infamous year that a lot of us went through some changes. And I didn't know if what I was about to do was just, I knew it was going to change everything, but I didn't know if it was good. So,
yeah, sure.
And I had ideas in my mind, and I received guidance, but I thought, well, this is so mental. Can I have a physical connection, a physical sign that the truth? And I was covered in butterflies in that moment.
Oh my goodness.
It was like they were crawling down my arms, they were crawling down my face, they were butterflies. And it was everywhere. And then they just lifted up and left. So, we get signs when we ask. And so it doesn't have to be a car accident or anything like that. If we're ignoring the messages that we've been receiving, which I had also. So then that's when the signs get a little heavier and a little heavier and a little heavier. So we pay attention.
Right. When you're not paying attention, the universe will find a way to tell it to you more forcefully until you can't ignore this information. And that was so neat how you talked about the butterflies. That is what a sign that is. That's incredible. And, I had a butterfly showing up with me yesterday, which was so cool. I walked out to my garden in the back, and I have a butterfly bush, and there was a big, beautiful monarch there. And I said, you know what? I'm going to connect with this butterfly. So I wanted to just connect. So I started just standing there, and I just said, come on over and see me. Come on over and see me. And I kept my finger out. Well, it would fly, and it would go up over my roof, and then it would come back, and it would like circle closer to me and then go around. And I kept saying, no, I'm safe. It's okay. But, so the butterfly kept flying around me. It came close, but never actually landed on me. But it was so cool because I know we were connecting, and there was a huge connection. And these are the things that we can do now. These are some of the small gifts that we're getting, that we can totally connect with nature and whatever we need to get the answers and to get the knowing that what we're doing is right. It's okay. It's safe. And, it's going to be as safe as you allow it to be. And you set the parameters around yourself. This is going to be okay for me. And I'm in the white light doing this. And if you need to, going inside and doing that inner work and the quiet time and knowing what your true signs are that tell you, yes, this is a good movement for you. This is the right place to go. Those are the things.
Refinement process.
Yes, your refinement process is the way to fulfill, or the way to actually, validate that what you're doing is right. And what you're doing, well, there's never right or wrong anymore. It's just a learning ability. But it's always nice to hear that you're in the right direction. So,
We have choices. We could do it a different way if we don't, but if it feels really good for us, feels good, then there is that old 60s things, if it feels good, do it. Well, there's a lot of truth to
no
that.
point. Yeah. Certain things, I mean, we can easily go,
Yeah.
take that to the limits too. But
Right. But if we're in attunement, if
yes.
if we're connecting to this light, if we're connecting to our higher selves, and we're bringing it all the way through the core of our being, if
Mhm.
if we can feel our hearts, if we can really feel that presence in our
Yeah.
heart, and
Yeah.
we allow that deep connection to the
Mhm.
earth needs us to respect her and
Oh,
to
absolutely.
connect with her right now. That's part of the change that's occurring on the planet, is that as we give more respect and love and devotion to the earth will bring is expanding in those energies, and then it allows things to be less destructive.
Right.
It really does cut down on, I mean, the frequencies are very high, and that can go into chaos and upheaval really quickly.
Mm.
Or we can bring, because I think a lot of the prophecies that were original prophecies that came through the Native Americans, that came through the South American teachings, and the Maya, and all the Native peoples, all of the original um, people who lived on this planet have these huge prophecies about what was going to occur.
Mm.
And I mean, and we don't even have to get very biblical, but that a lot of the consciousness that has occurred on the planet, and the light that has flooded the earth and lifted the frequencies, has toned down the destruction. And
Mm.
the more aggravated and violent and thoughts and all, and those, the way that we uphold our lives makes a difference on the level of destruction we see in the planet. So it's,
Yeah.
we are in that refinement process and bring ourselves much more centered and much more connected to the earth, as well as the light that is available to us,
Mm.
the way the earth responds as well.
Yeah, this is a full moon day today. I don't know if that's what someone just reminded me. It's full moon today. Happy full moon day. And I'm like, okay. And I was listening to someone talk about, this is a week of forks in the road. This is for every astrological sign. It's a week of forks in the road where you can choose to go this direction or that. So, to really go in and think, everybody that's listening, well, actually they won't hear this then, but if you notice today, well, I guess it's not going to be really relevant, but yet there are days where there's forks in the road where you can, that really are in your favor to make a decision. So, this whole energy of the last part of 2019 has been like that, totally about
It's going to be like that.
clearing the energies, sitting with whatever's been bothering you, get through it, feel it, and mourn it, and put it away, put it to, send it on its
It doesn't
way.
serve us to stay in processing anymore. I mean, the
Yeah.
old days we used to, sit with our therapist and go over our childhood for years,
Mm, mm,
none of that energy is really relevant to
mm,
this time, you
mhm,
know.
mhm,
Yes, so do what you need to do to process and get through that, and don't stay there, because the more we dig, we'll always find more. We'll always find more. But the choice is to what we do want to experience, to move into a more relevant conversation about what we love, and what is our dream, and how can we bring those levels of consciousness now into our daily life, and so that it has more purpose and meaning and depth and beauty, and we can live in beauty. We truly can. And it's easy as an American to say this kind of thing, but I think that there are always choices to be made, and so that's also an interesting time to think about. I would like to
yeah.
take a message from Archangel Gabriel.
Oh, sure.
I have I have the book, you know,
I,
little
yes.
shameless marketing piece here. So
No.
the book called The Gabriel
It's
Messages.
wonderful.
I also have a set of cards that is
Yes.
going to be reprinted and brought back into for us for Christmas. And so I wanted to take a card for us right now, which
Absolutely.
will also be relevant whenever this is shown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, yes,
That's our intention. Yep.
yes, that's our intention. And it is, feeling free to be yourself is the greatest gift you can give.
Oh, wow. That
Isn't
is so
that
powerful.
amazing? You know, and one of the things I think that I love about getting older is I feel more free to be myself. You know, I was a great chameleon when I was growing up, and I learned how to be what I thought anybody wanted me to be. You know,
Mm.
and it wasn't purposeful. It wasn't. Didn't really work well for me. So this is a very great time to access who we really are, and within reason, of course. You and I both had our moments in our youth where we were acting in ways that we thought were ourselves. But it has, if we stay in that alignment and that heart attunement, then we also can just be free to speak our heart's truth and the wisdom that comes through our hearts, and feel free to give love to somebody because they really need it, and we feel a part of us feels pulled to do that. And so
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's
that's part of the oneness. I mean, all learning that we're all one, you know, what that person's going through, you've been through, you can understand it. We've got to have, you know, empathy and, you know, compassion. And yet, you know, we can listen. And then also after a while, it's nice if we can help each other, like shift it, you know what I mean? Because we can be stuck in it and wallow in it, and it doesn't get you anywhere, which is the old energy. It's really the old energy. Wallowing in our stuckness is going, because we've been, you know, given all this gift to deal with it, and you know, we've all been dealing with it. I mean, little bits and pieces always comes back. We can't, we're not perfect human beings. We take a couple steps forward and then one back. But you know, just being able to recognize that we're wallowing now, you know, like I think I was talking about, there's this phrase I heard called create or complain. And that fits like perfectly in this moment, because here we're saying you can either create the moment and make it better, or you can keep complaining about it. Which do you choose? I mean, which is going to really make you feel better when you think about it?
And also the you know, we're responsible in some ways for we're always responsible for our own consciousness, and what our consciousness brings to the planet is it affects things. If we have these violent thoughts, it's going to stir up the energy, and we'll have more chaos. But we also, when we're complaining, we are lowering the energy, and we're keeping the frequencies down. And you know that quote from Einstein, that you can't solve a problem from the place it was created. That's the deal. So we have to, it's our job, because we're aware of it, to find ways to lift the consciousness. And what would you rather see? You know, there's a great there's a what if exercise that Abraham talks about, you know, that Esther Hicks talks about, that if we just can, if we're stuck in a complaining place and we have nowhere to see out of it, we could just have this kind of a fun conversation with somebody. Well, what if there was a unicorn that could come and bless us with new light and energy? And I've heard that the unicorns are actually more active now than they ever used to be. They're back on the planet. So it's that elemental earth energy is expanding, as well as these universal expanding truths that are becoming more aware. So you know, just even doing something that tricks your consciousness into uplifting its focus of perception.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's why prayer is so useful. That's why having an alignment exercise that brings light through into your higher self and through your whole body, and strengthens the core and the whole chakra system. It's a really deep an important connection to have, because it's something you can go to when you're in that down complaining space to shift everything and make you more resourceful.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good, because I just came to a 12-step thought that I learned when I was in 12-step groups. Move a muscle, change a thought.
Yeah.
You know? Like you said that, and that was a simpler way they used to say it, but it was, yeah, because as soon as you think you wanted to do something, like, take a drink or something, get up, get on the phone and call somebody and talk about it, or go outside and walk, or, do something to change that thought. Get out of yourself. And like a lot of people now are saying, well, be of service to people.
Mm-hmm.
Get out there and go do something and get out of your own way, kind of to, you could volunteer if you want. I mean, people are like, well, I don't have time to volunteer, but you can just volunteer for a day somewhere, just one day, or just a couple of hours, or, whatever it is.
Somebody that needs help getting across the street or carrying.
Yeah, it could be as simple as that. Yeah,
Yeah.
letting someone get in front of you in the line in the grocery store because they're in a hurry and you're not.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things, those are small gifts we can give each other. It doesn't have to be a big deal event. It can be very small and very caring, holding the door for someone.
Smiling at somebody.
Yes, exactly. These are small, beautiful increments that we're bringing out. And,
Yes.
and I have more people holding doors now than I've ever seen before.
I love it.
I know. And it's like, wow. And men and women, everyone's holding doors for each other. And I love that, because a few years ago, I don't remember that happening. And now everyone's really being so kind and thoughtful, and, it's really shifting. You can just see
I thought it was my gray hair that made people start to open.
Now, mine's helped. So no, but I still get the door opened. So it's so nice, it's just these are the small little increments of change you can see happening with people.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I love that. You're right.
But we look for it, and we have to look for the good. We have to really look for it, because we can get bogged down, and especially if we really love the news and we really
what's
going on. It is a way of, yes, you can stay abreast of what is going on, but it gets repetitive, and you don't really need to see it over and over and over. And for some of us who aren't really news hounds, somebody's always going to tell you.
Exactly. That's my thought. Exactly.
You're going to miss anything. If it's really relevant, you will know. It's really important. So, but don't just sit and take your whole consciousness down this dark tube.
That's right.
Repetitive, what's horrible today, and that people get really addicted to that, and it's because
it makes them feel better that their life isn't that bad.
Or
that's the old way of looking. It's the old.
They have an idea that the world is not a benevolent place to be in, and so reinforcing that thought. And that, there's, for every 10 people, 9 of them, or I think there's actually 10 would be 10 for 10, but, I would say that there's mostly good people in the world.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
And so, you want to reinforce those thoughts and really make that work for you in your life.
Yeah, the best part of the news, which I don't really watch, but my husband loves it. So every now and then, if I'm making dinner or I'm in the room, I get to see a little bit of it, and I'm like, oh, do you have to? But then the end of most news now are good stories.
Oh, that's great.
I'm always happy that there's a good story, but I walk out of the room because I can't listen to the rest of it. It's nothing but bad news. And, the world is really full of so much better news than that. Oh, yeah. And those are the small things that, like the sensational news that just causes you to get in a flurry. And your everyday existence is not like that. It just isn't, and it's important to, be grounded in today, stay in today, and be just happy with your, just
in this moment. Is there a roof over your head? Are you fed? Are you warm? Are you, it's, you just have to keep bringing yourself back into a place where you can feel in harmony with yourself, and uplifting yourself to the place where you really do know that things are getting better, and that you live in well-being, and that well-being can be your reality if that's what you choose and focus on.
Yeah, and it's your focus that will do that for you. I
It
agree with
expands everything. If your whatever
that.
you're focused on expands. So
Yeah, and you
something
attract
good.
it to you. Yep, yep. I love that's so true. And
Mhm.
so I'd love to ask you what messages do you have for the audience for the rest of the 2019 year? Anything particular you'd like to?
Well, we're moving into a more active time, where
Mm-hmm.
this last 6 months has been kind of like walking through jello in some ways. It's really hard to get things going. But now we're like in action. There's a lot of action. We want to make sure that it's focused action. We want to make sure that it's,
Mm-hmm.
I call it divine right action. It's one
Mm-hmm.
of the tenets of the Buddha was, divine right action. So that when you're so in tune with your higher self, when you're so clear about what your intentions are and how you want to live, that is an important piece of the reality that you live in. And so if you're taking it, will this action, if I take this action, will it bring more love into my life? Will it serve the world in a greater way?
Mm-hmm.
And will it make me happy? And so, to not just move into frantic flailing action, which so many of us can do when we say we're crazy busy. So many people are saying crazy busy right now. And that's kind of scary, because I want what actions I take to be more connected to my highest good. I don't want to just be in action with no purpose and no connection to what's true for me. So we're going to be in an active place. 2020 holds miraculous astrological events. It's really an amazing. It's almost like I've heard. Excuse me. I've heard. Excuse me.
Yep.
Because I'm about to. So I heard somebody call what we've come through from 2012 to 2019 as a time of tribulation. And so then that leads into a greater opening and expanded time of beauty, of harmony, of peace, of joy on the planet. And always for me, it needs to have more purpose and more meaning. And so that life can have that direction that really allows me to feel like I'm doing what I came here to do.
Exactly. That's exactly what the whole premise of this life is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Be here to do what I was meant to do. And yeah, that's a beautiful message. Thank you so much for that.
I feel like it's really important that all that I offer to others, all the work that I do, have that as its intention. I offer a spiritual practice quarterly.
Right. Yes.
And as we are doing the one that I'm doing right now, and this time that we're doing this recording is near equinox. And so on the equinox and on the solstice, I will always do a program where I lead loosely. I use the word lead, facilitate a spiritual practice that my guru taught me back in '78, called an Anustan. And what it is just a spiritual practice that is dedicated to a specific purpose for a specific number of days. And you do the specific practice for those days. And it's usually like 3, 5, 7, 12, 11, it's those numbers, 9 days. And on those days, you go to the same place at the same time as much as possible and do the same practice, and it builds energy. And science calls it a conditioned space. So you go into the space what you have conditioned. And so that's why I suggest people create altars, a working altar, a place where you can go where it's the same. It has an energy already built into it. So when you sit down there and you ask to be centered and aligned and at peace, it will happen because that's the conditioning that you've put into the space. And the same with a spiritual practice. And so it's people who have never had any kind of practice are finding that it's changed their lives in ways that some people have said they start feeling really down and disconnected, and within a few days they actually feel really changed and uplifted, and so people have starting to put these regular practices into their lives in a way that serves them and allows them to have more meaning and purpose. And so just something simple like 20 minutes a day can really make a difference. If you light the candle in front of you with the consciousness that you're connecting to the light of the divinity within you and in the world, then that's what it is. And so that's part of what I really want people to do. It's part of my mission. The other thing that I also am working with is the chakra system and how important that is. And I know that you've really found that to be true too. And so there are archangels in every one of our chakras that hold the frequencies and the quality of consciousness that this chakra represents. And so, for instance, Archangel Gabriel is in our, and I know that there are other systems that may say this differently. In my system, in the way I've learned, in the way I was trained, the second chakra, the Svadhisthana, holds Archangel Gabriel energy, and Archangel Hope, now that I've been introduced to her. So this particular chakra is about our creative expression. It's about deeply connecting to the place of unity, where all separation is ended and we're back in wholeness. And so those, just recognizing those qualities in the chakra system is really beneficial, and it lands in your body in a way that allows you to feel really connected, and you come right back to it. And so I'm about to start a program. I've taught this particular program, the Archangel Study Program, for many, many years. And this year, what I'm going to do as we complete 2019 is do it with the feminine. Like Archangel Hope came and brought this feminine consciousness in that balanced the masculine. That's what I'm going to do with the archangels and the chakra system as we come up. I'll have the first chakras will be the earth connected chakras up to the heart, and then as the new year comes, we're going to go from the heart up into the crown. And so it's a beautiful program that is going to unite us with ourselves in a way that we've not experienced before, because the divine feminine is really essential for this transformation on the planet. That's why we need to connect to the earth. That's why we need to be more receptive and more flexible. Part of the divine feminine working in us.
Wow. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's important information. So what's the name of the program that you're offering?
I don't know yet.
Oh, okay. That's the chakra system, but I get it.
I will by the time this is over. I've been calling it an Archangel Study Program for a lot of years.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And last year I think I called it, or I did the masculine form last year about this time.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
And that was I think it was Awakening to Your Light or something like that. And so it will be an Archangel Study Program of some form. I know the form, and the name is well, maybe by the time we finish this program, I'll have a name for it. Yeah. But it's going to be the divine. It's going to be with the feminine consciousness, with the archangels and the chakra.
So important right now. So important with that. So, I know. So your gift that you're giving the audience, could you tell us a little about it?
Yeah. Oh, it's so great. So this is a meditation that I did at the end of that last Archangel Study Program. So we were all really potentized. We'd been 14 weeks working together in the chakras to bring really balance and then bring light into every cell. And so that's what this meditation will do. It's a light. It's using the light fields around us as well to stimulate the chakras and bring the light into the cells of the body. So it's a very healing, very very high frequency meditation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will fall asleep when they listen to it because it's frequencies that their body's not used to.
Yep.
But after a few times, you'll be able to stay awake through it. And it's very, it's a wonderful meditation. So the light activation meditation is what I would do as a long distance healing or remote healing.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
And also it's what I do in person with my body work.
Ah.
But we also, that's the gift, is to be able to have that meditation so you can do that healing, bring light into every cell of your body as often as you want. And it's very powerful. And I bring the archangels into it as well.
Oh yeah. And that so helps with the shifting that we're all going through and with the upgrades. And yeah, you bring it in a safe and gentle way. And yeah, the archangels are guiding you with that. So
it's good. It's good. So and the other thing is that I'm also offering a special
yeah.
too, is to have a personalized talking to me on the phone, and we would have an actual where I work with a person going through their chakra system, bringing the archangels in to work with us in that healing form, and expanding their energy system and clearing it so that it can bring in the higher frequencies and supporting the body so the body can hold higher frequencies, because a lot of us are not we're not used to bringing in such high frequencies of light, and it's stirring up a lot of the darkness. It's not the darkness that we focus on. It's bringing the light in to clear out the darkness. It's like turning a light on in the dark room. So that's what these light activation sessions can do, is turn on the light and in all the little corners that are
yeah, it's wonderful. So audience, we love that thank you for tuning in today, and thank you for that beautiful gift, Shanta. And I want to thank all our listeners, because I know you're very wonderful, and you send lots of comments. So please keep them coming. Last season we had a lot of comments, and it was wonderful. And I will answer them all personally right now. I can do that. So it's still working. I can do that. And I really honor our connection with you all, the audience, and with Shanta, who is such a beautiful light in the world, and value your comments. So please let us know what you think of all the, what we're talking about. And if you have anything you want to share with me or Shanta, please, let us know. So Shanta, thank you so much for being the divine conduit for Archangel Light that you are, and being the anchor for alignment, because you're talking about that, because you're in the root chakra, which is a huge alignment and a huge anchoring. And living in Mount Shasta has, brought you there for a reason. And this is part of your reason, obviously. And you're this wonderful light on the planet, and you are serving people by showing them how to unlock their passions and ignite their authenticities, and finally create the lives they love with that beautiful divine light you bring through. So thank you so much, Shanta, again. And I am Janet Miller, and I will see you on the next episode.